Hello everybody and welcome to Cornish Walking Trails. Oh, Ron! Yeah! Obviously not a walk today. When I put out my art project about St Michael's Mount, I was so blown away by your really kind comments. It was just one of those things that I needed to do. I don't know if you'll get creative moments where you just need to go and do something, but I tend to, so I have to. That's what I did. I just went and fulfilled that creative moment, and hence the project about St Michael's Mount. And I thought I would share it with you, as we were in lockdown. One of the comments from a viewer was asking if I would do a piece specifically for him. He emailed me a photo of Grebe Beach. It's near Durgan on the Helford River here in Cornwall, a beautiful spot. We're here on the North Helford River is behind me, and down there is Grebe Beach. So we're on the footpath that runs between Morning Church and Durgan, and that little beach is just around the headland from Durgan. I'm going to try and get down there and get a closer look. I've just found a piece of sea glass on this beach. Excellent! Yeah, there's another piece. That's what we found on this beach. That one obviously I won't use, but I don't think I should leave it on the beach. It looks a bit sharp. There's definitely sea glass on this beach, Em. Yes.
Fabulous.
I've seen another bit. This is some of the sea glass that we actually collected from Grebe Beach. So these pieces I'm hoping I can work into the underground rocks. They've got just the right colour, the blues and the greens. They're quite jewel-like colours. And I have got a plan for these rather lovely clear glass ones. I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping they may become part of the sea campions on the edge of the photo. We'll have to see. So the story of us going down to try to get a photograph of Grebe Beach that would be used, you know, really good photo for this project. The first evening we went down, and the vantage point you see Grebe Beach from is in the east, and the sun was setting behind Grebe Beach in the west, so the contrast in the photo, well, it was like this. So the water is quite flat, it's all one colour, you've just got a single strip of beach, and the tree line is very silhouetted. So it is quite a flat photo, so I wanted a better one. So we went back the next morning so that the sun would be coming from the east and lighting up the beach, and it worked a treat. Take a look at this. I love this. The jewel colours in the water, it's not that one flat colour, it's lovely, it's lighting up the rocks underneath, and you can kind of get a sense of the depth of the water. It's quite tranquil obviously because it's a creekside setting, and the colour of the stones, you just know they're covered in little barnacles, giving that lovely warm glow. The beach is no longer just a silver slither, it's got some colour to it, it's got depth, you can see it's actually a beach, it looks lovely. The one thing I'm going to change, I'm going to merge this, blend this with another photo, and I'm going to take my artistic chainsaw and cut back that pine tree so that we get that distinctive tree line, making you know exactly what beach it is, because I think without that tree line it doesn't particularly look like Grebe Beach. So a little bit of artistic license. However, I do want to keep that sense of you looking down, peeking through. So there will be some pine trees, and there is going to be some of that sea campion in the bottom corner. So I'm really excited to do this. I think it's a lovely photograph, great beach. Let's get going. So I don't want to overwhelm this video with the technique itself. For those who missed it, I'll put the St Michael's Mount Sea Glass Textile Project video, a link at the end of this video so you can catch up. that was pretty tense. It's the biggest one I've ever done, but it worked. That greaseproof paper released its treasure, and we've now got a picture that we can put on a frame and start working on. Let's have a look at it. I'm really pleased with how the image has turned out. It does give you that sense of Grebe Beach. I love the way that we've got some detail. The Bonderweb has worked really well. Never get a precise image with Bonderweb, so if you try this at home, don't worry if it doesn't look exactly like it. It has this habit of crinkling and you lose the definition, but you can kind of make out that these are the pine trees as they fall down the headland, Durgan tucked around there. The tricky thing I've got to do now is get this onto my frame. I think it's the largest one I've done, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I've measured it correctly and it will get onto the frame. So now for the fun bit, let's rummage through the sea glass and see what fits. Really loving the colours of these little bits of sea glass. I think they look quite good as underground rocks. Here I want to build up an element of the sea campion, and I did suggest that I was going to use some of the transparent sea glass to do this. This is like the bit below the corona, and maybe we'll sit here as I'm about to stick this down, just to make sure that I don't put too much on there. Those little tiny bits on the rocks should be okay, so I'm quite happy with those. Whether I'll use that many, I don't know. I might like some shiny thread to represent some of those rocks as well, so I don't want to overwhelm that area. It's a fine balance. So I think I'm about halfway through with the stitching application to this project now, so let's take a little closer look. The ivy and the little trees that tumble down the cliffside nearer to the vantage point, I've started to define with some French knots going up the cliffside here. So I'm really pleased with the way that the rocks have gone in here. We've got a mixture of sort of like stem stitches and French knots, but I love the sea glass. Look at this, we've got an amber colour for the rock going to green and then down to these lovely emerald blue. These were actually discovered on Grebe Beach itself, so I was really pleased to work these into the picture. And in this corner we've got our density of foliage with the sea campion as it's nestled into the cliffside. And I have used some sea glass here to represent some of the flowers. These are not finished yet. I'm going to really make them pop with some white, but that's going to be the last thing that goes on. And I just want to run some stitches up here to have some overhanging, like bits of grass and stuff like that. But that'll be the last thing to go in that area. Lots to do yet, just to bring out the definition. I'm really looking forward to doing the pine tree. I think I'm done. Should we take a look? So here's my interpretation of Grebe Beach near Durgan on the Helford River. So let's take a closer look at this corner. We've got lots of sea glass there, kind of representing the rocks as the sunlight is bouncing through the water and lighting up the rocks underneath. I do particularly like this amber coloured one. It kind of matches in with the rock above the water. And as for these delightful little blue ones, I think they're just gorgeous. There is a little bit of beadwork and embroidery just to complement and give you the sense that that ridge of rock is going underwater. So from above there's a little cluster of sea campion flowers, and I wanted to introduce the sea glass as part of that flower. It seems quite a contradiction in terms really that you'd use such a hard material for such a delicate thing, but I think it's worked quite well. I am so pleased with how this pine tree has turned out. The 6 thread knots, the French knots, really look like pine cones clustering on those boughs of the tree, and the little spiky characteristic fronds of the pine needles, I think they look brilliant in the 2 colour greens. Really pleased. So I hope you've enjoyed our video about sea glass. A bit different to our normal walk videos, but the comments that you sent through last time, and with this being a commission, I did want to show you another one. If there is anywhere that you would like to send me to try to tackle, maybe it's your favourite place in Cornwall, then drop a note in the comments and we'll give it a go.